Hello there, this is Samuel Reynolds with UnlockAstrology.com, picking up with our Go Full Circle, Flip the Table series on instructing you how to at least read and identify key parts of a natal chart or a chart in general. So I decided to start with looking at the chart of someone who seems very popular these days. I guess she's always popular, Queen Elizabeth II of England. But I believe a lot of people are watching, I think, season 2, or at least season 1, of the Netflix series, The Crown. I see a lot of tweets about that. So I thought I would look at Queen Elizabeth's chart. So this is her natal chart. And a natal chart is a snapshot of where the planets were in what degrees, and we'll go over that in a second, at a particular point in time. So at 2:40 a.m. in London, England, this is a replica of where the planets were, at least tropically, for Queen Elizabeth II. Now, what do I mean by a snapshot? What are we really looking at? Well, I set an interval of 4 minutes to give you this sense of motion. So this is how the planets are moving at 4-minute intervals, literally our 4 minutes, after she was born. So you can see now it's almost noon. So that's a full 10 hours after she was born. And so now, as the planets are continuing, we see that the sun is moving in what we call a clockwise fashion. In fact, that is the origin of what we call clockwise, the sun's movement through a chart, as it appears going from the east, which is over here, to the west, which is here. And this is always true for any chart. This is always perceived as east. This is always perceived as west. That means then this up here, this whole part of the chart, is considered the south, and this part is considered the north as the bottom. Now, what I just want to say is that you saw the moving planets, and the sun is going this way, and all the planets ultimately during the day, during one particular day, is following this motion, which we call diurnal motion, in terms of moving this particular way, clockwise. So let's at least identify the planets. And again, I'll have a PDF available that you can use in order to identify the planets in your own chart. But I thought I would point out where the planets are in this chart. And again, this is based on Queen Elizabeth's chart sometime after she was born. So we see here the sun, starting with the sun, is at 1 degree Taurus. So this means 1 degree, 0 here with that mark there, that's for minutes. Now, with some software, you can get it to the point of seconds, but we're not focused on seconds, and most software and most places that replicate a chart are not going to use seconds. But sometimes that happens, and so that will be the double quotes. So when you see that, then that means there's seconds. When you see 1 quote or 1 apostrophe, as you see there, then that's going to be just for minutes. So the sun is at 1 degree Taurus, 0 minutes. Here we have Mercury. Mercury is at 5 degrees Aries, 8 minutes. And then I'm going to go in order around. Uranus, this is the planet Uranus. And so that's the glyph for Uranus. That's the glyph for Mercury at 27 degrees Pisces and 23 minutes. This is the glyph for Venus. Venus is at 14 degrees Pisces, 46 minutes. This is the glyph for Jupiter in Aquarius at 22 degrees and 38 minutes. This is the glyph for Mars at 21 degrees, 27 minutes of Aquarius. So these two are what we would say, and we'll get to that a little later, conjunct, or at least in another video. Way over here, we have Saturn. And Saturn is at 24 degrees Scorpio and 23 minutes. And then here, we have Neptune. Neptune is at 22 degrees Leo and 1 minute. We have the moon at 21 degrees Leo and 51 minutes. And then this is not an actual planet, but it is actually an intersection point between the moon's orbit, as we imagine it, and the imaginary orbit of the sun around the actual Earth. Well, I actually should say, just to clarify, the moon does literally go around the Earth. So this is the moon's orbit. But this point is also symbolic of the sun's motion around the Earth. We astrologers do literally know that the sun does not go around the Earth, just FYI. So this intersection point is what we call the north node. There's an opposing point at the exact same degree, but opposite sign, called the south node. And this north node is at 20 degrees Cancer. This is the glyph for Cancer. We'll get to that at 5 minutes. Then last but not least is Pluto. Pluto is at 12 degrees Cancer and 42 minutes. But this is the glyph for Pluto. So that's the introduction to the 10 planets and the 1 node, are the axis of the nodes that we generally use in astrology. So you can use this as a guide to find these similar glyphs in your chart. The one thing I will say is that the glyph for Pluto sometimes can change. So it could be a P with a tail, a crooked tail going toward the right. So it'll look like an L. So PL, and that's for the discoverer of Pluto, Percival Lowell, who was honored with that particular glyph. So some people, some astrologers, some programs might use that glyph instead of this one. Okay, so the next video, I will talk about identifying the signs and the houses and take it from there. Thank you.